Today, let's talk to Paul Pedrazzi. He's the GM of Product Design for CA Technologies. And he's going to talk about how user-centric design has completely transformed the way companies are making enterprise software. Hey, Paul, I'm Dylan.
Hey, Dylan, how are you?
Good. Pleased to meet you.
Definitely.
Have a seat. So what's your role at CA Technologies? What do you do all day?
I do design. Figuring out what products to build from an interface perspective, making them look good, making the experience enjoyable. The way that software is being bought has changed so dramatically. Users now have a very strong voice where they didn't used to before. If you think about an application you put on your phone, when you do that and you download that app, you give it 4 or 5 seconds before you decide if it's a keeper or you're going to hold it down and hit the X button.
Right.
And so when you move into your work life, you're still the same person.
Yeah.
You still expect that same experience. So no longer are people okay with a mediocre product at work and something great at home. You know, there was a time when it was bought with a checklist.
Yeah.
And so someone in procurement would make this decision based on all the things they thought it wanted.
These features.
And if it had it and it was the cheapest, that's what you got.
Yeah.
And you had this product inflicted on you as a user. All of that has shifted. It's why design now matters in the enterprise.
Yeah.
Where a decade ago, it really didn't matter.
Yeah, that's right. So how do you get that kind of insight into what people actually want?
The way you do it is you start with them as individuals. You start to understand what they're dealing with, their pains, their frustrations, and you design around that because you can understand those things. They can tell you what they want in terms of outcomes. So let me give you an example.
Okay.
So let's say you were designing a music player for someone who's going to use it at the gym and jogging. They would know a battery life of 5 minutes isn't going to work for them.
Right.
But they may not know about flash storage technology that's out there. And that's where you can bring your expertise and marry it and create something new. So your job in this design thinking and as a designer and as a product person is to understand those dimensions and then marry them to new technology. And that's where you get real innovation.
Okay. Help me understand how this plays out in the world that you're working in, when you're working, say, with CA's customers.
They're critical to the process in a bunch of places. So first is that up front. So what is the idea we need to go after? What is, let's say, the new product we need to build? That starts with understanding them and their needs. So bringing them in and prototyping saves everyone time and saves the company money. It's not like we involve customers because we're trying to do some marketing thing. It's really the best way to get the best products.
So in the context of customers who are becoming more and more digital and more software makers in their own right, how do they start absorbing this kind of mindset of being very user-centric?
The most general principle I would say in order to build great products is to get out of the office. The more you do that, you'll start to see the patterns emerge. When you're hearing the same thing again and again, you go, yep, I know exactly what we need to do here. And you do, and you will build such a better product than if you're dreaming it up on a whiteboard.
Cool. Well, that's a very inspiring note to end on, actually, getting out there and talking to people. Paul, I really appreciate your taking the time. Thank you for giving us a little perspective on what it takes to make user-centric software.
It was fun. Thank you.